Internal government assessments have warned the UK should prepare for the sudden collapse of the Putin regime following an attempted coup by Wagner mercenaries.
Now, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the insurrection showed cracks are showing in Vladimir Putin's regime and warned this isn't the end, as Piers Pottinger said, of the Wagner opera. OK, let's bring in security expert Maria Avdeeva, who joins us now from Kharkov in Ukraine. Good morning, Maria. Just tell us how it was this weekend to be in Ukraine and hear this news that there was potentially a coup being enacted against Putin. It must have been greeted as with celebration initially.
Thank you for having me, and I'm actually now in Kyiv because I was just on the train from Kharkiv to Kyiv. It's Kyiv railway station. And yes, the whole weekend, everyone in Ukraine was glued to their screens, watching every step about what is happening in Russia. And the Wagner mercenaries road show up to Moscow. And of course, the hope here was, I won't hide that they will get to Moscow. They will do it because everything that weakens Russia and Russian authorities and Russian military leadership is good for Ukraine, especially now when the counteroffensive is looming in the Ukrainian south. But we saw that Wagner stopped in Moscow, before Moscow, and then they went back, and he was allowed, Prigozhin himself was allowed to go back to Belarus, thus undermining the credibility of Russian authorities and Putin himself, humiliating Putin actually, because we know for sure that Wagner mercenaries shut down several Russian helicopters and even a plane. And so now it means that in Russia you can legally give an order to do that and then just go and retreat to Belarus. So now everyone thinks here that Putin will do something in revenge to show that he still keeps his power. From what we see is that the full control of Russia over Russian state media, what the narratives are now. So they are now trying to convince them the situation is fully under control and nothing was happening. But of course, they will have to do something to show that the Russian president holds the power, which in reality he doesn't.
Maria, they may not have got to Moscow, they stopped 120 miles away, but how big has it been for morale in Ukraine amongst your fellow people that the fact is this is a clear sign that Putin's authority is waning?
Yeah, for the first hand, there were like lots of memes. Ukrainians were exchanging with each other, like speculating on the fact that you can just go inside Russia and then make the whole trip up to Moscow. They were saying like to General Zaluzhny, commander-in-chief, probably we should make the counteroffensive in that direction, in the direction of Moscow. So the expectations were high. And then even if they didn't get it to Moscow itself, it shows how weak and how unstable Russia in reality is. And there was even a joke here that before the war, Russia said that it's the second largest army in the world. Now Russian army is the second largest in Russia, inside Russia, even undermined by such a small group of mercenaries as Wagner Group in reality is. So this boosts Ukrainian morale, and at the same time we've got pretty positive news from the front lines. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense said that there is some advance on the front lines, not huge, but still in several directions, and it also gives Ukrainians this feeling of hope that the developments on the front line we will see pretty soon.
OK, thank you very much, Maria Avdeeva, there in Ukraine.